an inspiration point if someone would like to do the recap.
I am willing to take it.
And I'm willing to give it whenever you are ready.
Take it away.
All right. If I can just get a quick reminder of where the session split happens, because they all sort of, I should just help me remember where the session split happened.
So we started off mid-fight.
If I recall, it
yes,
was
yes.
right.
Was that just last week? That feels like so long ago.
I know it does.
All right. So the party was fighting the critters that were coming to surprisingly come get the Chewingas. They were not after Akia this time. We said no, thank you, and they insisted. We slaughtered them. It was a good time. It's a good time. Gaiman finished off the fox with a beautiful javelin throw.
A thing of fucking beauty, let me tell you.
It's been paraded around on a stick, like Lord of the Flies sort of thing. I don't know. It's good things are happening. Let's see. Let me look at this map. Help me remember what we were doing. We stayed for the night. Sold some meat. Got some side quest information. Apparently, the tavern owner's son is either in I or J here on the map. Both of which are locations of one a castle, one a ruined castle of some backstory type stuff that we may or may not intervene in directly. Yeah, that was the lady. Her son apparently found one of them there black shards of a long destroyed tower, and yeah, black ice castle that exploded. So we might have a little side quest there to go possibly see what these people are getting up to in one of those castles. Maybe find her son, send him home, maybe kill her son. You know, you never know. Lost child name Huarwar. Huarwar.
You are correct. His name is Huarwar.
But there's Care Denival and Care Conning. And I wrote here companions versus Ikar Kessel. I guess that's like the backstory we could go look up if we wanted to learn about the Black Ice Castle exploding. All right, and we sold some meat, and Ray, I think you can get like, I think everyone got like 3 gold from that. So if Ray wants to add 3 gold to their sheet, we sold 100 pounds of elk meat, and everyone also got 10 pounds of, or 20 pounds turned into 10 rations. So if you want 10 elk rations, you got that. Gaiman has a bear with him, just a dead bear.
It's not just a dead bear. It's a trophy. It's a thing won in battle.
Yeah, non-magical bear. Just a bit evil. Maybe some sort of awakened bear. But not
he's
like
very magical. I can make him talk.
He's still magical if he's dead.
Is an awakened bear still an awakened bear once they're dead, or are they just a bear? That's a philosophical question. They could be brought back to life, maybe? Yeah, so I guess so. I guess they're still an awakened bear even after they're dead, if you look at it that way. We made it back to town. I don't think anything happened between town and Bryn Shander. We made it back to Bryn Shander. We met back up with our Miss Greystill. And the Chewingas joined Miss Greystill. They're going to do some experimenting. They're very good boys and girls. And they gave some of us some blessings.
I think we all got a charm of some kind.
That is absolutely correct, and I have that on my my chart here to give Raylan a blessing before we start the game. But please continue.
All right. Let's see. I don't remember what happened other than that. That's all I remember. I'm done.
Please take your point of DM inspiration. That was perfect. Oh, my cat just bit me. Moving forward, we have a Faxpiration question this evening. The Faxpiration question is, what is one rule your character never breaks? Let that hang in the moment for a second. And we will ask Gaiman the Glaive, what is one rule your character never breaks?
Ooh, I can't rightly say. I mean, I guess I'm not going to do something that I don't like. Yeah. So more personal code. Because, I mean, to be perfectly honest, there are plenty of rules I have no problem breaking. But, you know, I'm not going to be, like, not true to myself, you know? And if the DM does not like that answer, you can come back around to me and I will think on it some more.
Oh, I love that. So, yeah, if it's not in Gaiman's, like, retinue of things that he likes, hell no. We ain't doing that. I'm into it. You have earned your Faxpiration. Oh, we have a raised hand.
I was just going to volunteer to go next in case other people still needed time to think.
Absolutely. Please take it away.
So Akia, I've thought about this for a while, and Akia's rule that he never breaks is more like Akia's rule that his only rule is like to not get involved, and he always breaks it because he's just too curious. His curiosity, he always breaks his one rule, which is don't get involved, and he always breaks it because he's just so curious and nosy. He's a nosy guy. It's the unanswer to the question, because that's it. But like laws and stuff, he follows them. But that's it. He's got one rule and he breaks it constantly.
You sound like all of the people that are on my wife's reality TV shows that are supposed to be the good guys, but they're never good guys. They're always like, yeah, I'm just such a good guy and don't get involved in drama. And then you know that person's going to be filled with drama. So, Akia 13 for Big Brother Season 40 is what I'm saying. For the Lotus, what is one rule that they would never break?
I think for Lotus, her big thing, especially considering the big revelation she revealed to everyone in last session, is that she did not want to use her magical abilities to hurt anyone that's closer that she considers.
I got you. So you wouldn't want to use your abilities to hurt like any of your companions or any of the friends that you've made in Ten Towns?
Oh yes, definitely.
Okay, good. I was hoping that was the answer. I don't want you to use your magical abilities on like Mr. Blarton here.
If she's not nice
hey, come on, look,
to my mate Blarton, we're gonna have words.
Oh, come! Look at that face. How could anyone ever hurt that face?
I don't know. You suggested it, which makes me a little bit worried.
Well, hey, that was perfect. Faxpiration for our friend the Lotus. For Raylan Silverhand, what is one rule that they would never break?
Raylan's learned the hard way to never leave loose ends, even if it's hard to find the courage to do what's necessary. I've learned that not doing what's necessary in the moment leads to greater suffering for all. So I don't leave loose ends.
So Raylan, if I can get a little political here, does
Mhm.
not pull a Batman and just leaves all of the Batman villains alive in what's it called, Arkham Asylum. They're like, well, I
No,
could.
Raylan's
Go
more
ahead.
of a dead shot.
Oh damn.
Or a
I don't
death
know. I
stroke.
mean, if I'd say if we're going for dark anti-heroes, Punisher.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's maybe excessive, but
Well, I'm not necessarily saying methods. I'm more of like intent.
I think my perspective is the levers and gears of government clearly don't work, else we wouldn't be here. So we need to take matters into our own hands and do what's necessary, even if we lose a little bit of ourselves in the process.
Oh my gosh. Be careful fighting monsters. At least one become one. I love it. I love it. Faxpiration is yours. Last but not least, Alicia, what is one rule they never break?
Oh, I've been thinking about this since you asked the question just a few moments ago. And I really couldn't think of anything until probably just now. I guess one of the kind of similar to like, gaming having this is more like a personal code than anything. Is that they don't want to take anyone's life unjustly, and they have had to, at least in their eyes, had to break that rule since coming to 10 Towns, having to be a part of Targos, which undergoes human sacrifice for warmth. So, having to be the person that's present at these sacrifices, they feel like they're kind of a part of that process, and they hate it so much.
My gosh, and the regret.
Yeah.
Oof.
So if this thing with Danica can truly pan out and bring back, the light and warmth back to 10 Towns, they wanted to succeed, and they will probably do nearly anything to make sure that it does succeed.
Excellent. Well, here's to finding out what other content she has found out in the snow for you all to solve for her and the Moon Maidens. Alrighty. Well, everyone should be charged with Faxpiration. We have given out our DM inspiration. And let's see here for opening minutes. You guys did level up to 3 last time, so make sure we're level 3. And Raylan, as you guys would have traveled back from rescuing the Chewingas would have imparted upon you a supernatural blessing.
Okay. Would you like me to roll?
Oh, I'm about to import it onto your sheet. The question is, would you like me to say it aloud to everyone, or would you like to keep it to yourself? Because it's going to pop up in your sheet here in just a moment.
I'd like to keep it to myself.
Okay. It should import upon your sheet, and you should see it under your features. And the Chewingas would have given that to you after they said their goodbyes, or as they're saying their goodbyes currently, as you guys are leaving the Northlook Inn here in a few moments.
Got it. Excellent.
Cool. Oh, and real quick, guys, I was talking about this in the chat earlier today because your boy just can't help but talk about, all the ways that we could have more fun or just make this game incredibly insane. So this might be a combination of both. The bonus action spell rule. This is for a poll. Do you guys want to be able to action cast a spell and bonus action cast a spell? And I guess I should say leveled spell. Just go full on Nova.
I don't have a problem with it.
Doesn't matter for
Good
me
for me.
because I only have 2 spell slots.
Mhm.
I cast no spells. Yeah, it just matters to those that do have magic. I think that matters more for the White Lotus than anybody else.
Yeah, I do not feel invalidated because White Lotus can cast a spell and Misty Step on the same turn.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna lie, my sorcerer for my other game, hella jealous if that happens. Hella jealous.
Is there a spell casting barbarian in Valdas?
There is, but I wanted to stay on brand, so I went with Path of the Colossus.
Absolutely. So, all right. The gavel will go ding ding, and we will try it out. And if it becomes just too nutso, we might walk it back. But for now, this is gonna be fun. Okay. Let us take us back to the Northlook Inn. You guys were just sitting across the table from Danica Greysteel.
Gaiman is not present though. He stomped off and was looking for someone to skin the bear and make it into a cloak or something. So he's looking for some kind of merchant to do that.
Absolutely. And Gaiman, because of your knowledge of 10 towns, the place that you would want to go for that is the Black Iron Blades, and we will flash to you in just a moment. So, players around the table here, Danica just finished saying, "Oh, I've been collecting these writs, these jobs, these missions from other people around the 10 towns, people with connections, people with connection to my Moon Maiden group, people who are influential, and I have 3 here that I think you all should take a look at, because potentially we could make new allies, we could solve mysteries plaguing the town, or we could further understand what is causing this unending winter."
That sounds good. We can learn a good many things.
Just look
Akia
at-
says, a little sadly.
I have no
Look-
problem with this.
Yes, knowledge is power, after all.
Mm-hmm.
Look, the 3 open missions that I have heard of and found and discovered for you all. First is actually one here in Bryn Shander. It seems that the local clan, Battlehammer, I'm sure you're aware, the Dwarven Valley is just a stone's throw away, and the Battlehammer clan is the Dwarven clan that's on top currently, and has been for quite a long time. They will pay excellent money for anyone who can find a shipment of iron ingots that has been lost in the snow.
Iron ingots. How does one lose iron ingots?
To my information, there's not much here. I think you would have to go and find these group of dwarves. It says that they are located at the Black Iron Blades to learn more, potentially, about what is happening.
I mean, this region does get blizzards, so it's not too unimaginable.
Yes, so that is here in Bryn Shander, and you're looking for the 3 Battlehammer dwarves at the Black Iron Blades.
All right, and we would know that the Black Iron Blades is a location.
Yes, the Black Iron Blades, I don't want to give us map, what's it called? Map Whiplash. But I'm about to give you map Whiplash. Here in Bryn Shander, the Black Iron Blades is located south of your current position here in town. And Lotus, you would know this because you're Thane of Bryn Shander. The Black Iron Blades has kind of a poor reputation as of late. There's actually jokes that people will tell about people who buy equipment from the Black Iron Blades. And usually it is a story about how someone was killed in battle, someone was found in the wilderness, and they were carrying a Black Iron Blade to boot.
Yeah,
So, yes.
I would share this with the rest of the party, but I wouldn't be speaking too loud in case any of them happen to be in the bar next door.
Which reminds me, we told this lady we wanted to meet someplace more private next time.
This is private. I think we're in the side room, aren't we?
Yeah. I don't know, is it private enough? We should probably have like a little tree fort outside of town that we should meet in. Just saying.
Well, if I may make a suggestion, if you're looking for someplace fairly private, being Thane, I do have my own cottage here.
That would be greatly preferable. This inn is also slightly sticky.
I'm sorry about that. Yes, perhaps we could meet at your cottage, Lotus, or maybe the House of the Morning Lord, Alicia. Do you think that would be a good idea?
I mean, either one of those places should work.
Right. The thing is, if we are going to be meeting at my cottage, to be sure that we know it's one of us, perhaps we should have a bit of a call and response sort of thing. You know, like you say something and then I respond, and that's how we know that it's actually each other and it's not someone in disguise or something like that.
Don't tell me what it is right now. I might be an imposter currently.
Yes, how do you know someone's not listening to us right now?
We'll figure that out later.
Yes, we'll put a pin in that for now.
Maybe we do it when we're outside of town. There'd be less eyes and ears.
Yes, yes.
I mean, if someone's following us out there, it should be easy for us to see them, but who knows? Or they're just very dedicated.
Well, we'll just keep our voices down for the time being, then.
All right, got that written down. Next one.
The second mission that I have found and was sent to me by one of my contacts in Bremen. There is apparently a monster in the lake terrorizing the fishermen. The monster is living in Mare Dualden. And it's sort of strange that none of the other towns on the lake have been harangued by this monster.
When is the last time it was seen?
It says here in the writ that it's been seen this 10-day. It's been seen often, but no one can capture it or stop it from its actions. It seems to be able to slip in and out of the water with utmost stealth and alacrity.
Let's not get in the water den. This doesn't seem pleasant. Can any of you swim?
I should be able to swim fairly well, but I think the big thing is the water would be very cold unless you're resistant or immune to the effects of it. Your swimming talent or lack thereof would not really matter.
Yeah, I believe I can swim as well as any normal person, but I would probably catch hypothermia first, before I even got anywhere of import.
Well, now what?
Now, this mission comes to me from the city of Bremen, of course, and she keeps her voice very low when she says this. It comes from one of my Moon Maiden allies, Tally.
Go on.
I think she's just saying that would be our contact in Bremen.
Oh, so we would get more information there.
Yes, Tally has been keeping me up to date, but unfortunately enough, they have not been able to contact or make contact with the monster itself. They've only been able to get secondhand accounts.
How would we find this person? Will they be waiting for us, or do we need to seek them out?
Oh, Tally often does their research near Merdwelden, in Bremen. There is a harbor there that borders the lake, and you should be able to find them quite easily, as most people with the reports of a monster stay far away from the lake.
And has anyone gotten any physical evidence of this monster? Like any sort of scales, skin, or any other leavings?
Oh, the evidence is the large bite marks that have been taken out of the rowboats there.
And you see Lotus starts rubbing her chin, starts sort of mumbling under her breath, like, remember hearing something similar to this back where I'm from. I'll have to, but yes, we should definitely look into this.
Well, I have one more thing that you all could potentially take care of here. She looks down. Ooh. Dugan's Hole has a very large issue. The people there are living in fear of winter wolves that haunt the outskirts of town. As big as horses they are, and twice as intelligent as a normal wolf.
Would the rewards for these quests be negotiated with the quest, what would the word be?
Quest giver?
Well, I mean, she's sort of the quest giver, the original, what's another word for asker? The original quest giver, then.
She nods, yes, and it seems the person sending out this quest at Dugan's Hole is the speaker herself, Edgara Dormont.
All right, so OOC, are you guys have any more questions? Unless you guys have other questions, y'all want to just vote?
Yeah, let's do that.
I think just voting out of character would be a lot faster than discussing it in character.
Yeah, especially since I decided to stay in character and get grumpy and leave. I honestly think going fishing, and I don't think Gaiman's smart enough to suggest this, but but I think using gaming as live bait would be hilarious.
Sure, let's go for it.
You want to put up a vote thing?
Sure. A poll?
Yeah, that's the word. A pole, a fishing pole.
Okay.
I'm honestly thinking the two
Puns,
quests.
Erecting the pole, if you will.
Phrasing.
See, I was just saying to Orf that we needed a magic fishing pole. I was like, it's one of the infusions I can take is magic fishing pole. I thought about it. I was like, that.
And this gives us another good out of character question.
What's Tally's last name? Whacker?
Is it? I have a feeling that it's don't forget to bring a towel, Tally.
Bring it down.
I was thinking Tali from Mass Effect Tali.
I kind of want to find the dwarf's lost ingots because I think that'd be a good way to get some gems.
And also, if we can get a ring of warmth or something, I have no idea what magical items are available or what they're priced at, but that would alleviate the cold weather, the cold water issue, if you were to use gaming as bait.
Right, and also the black iron blades are right here, so that.
I was probably suggesting in like the two quests that are local here right now, probably tackle those first.
Yeah, I also kind of want to be messing with the ice knife killer quest the whole time.
Yeah.
Like as a B plot. Also out of character, I can make an item called a it's like a cube of warmth or something that just keeps you warm indefinitely, but it requires like a volcano or something for ingredients that I can take as an infusion. But I would have to have hold on, I'd have to look it up.
Side quest to Chult.
There could potentially be volcanic activity somewhere in Icewind Dale. There's plenty of mountains, right?
True.
Are there any earthquakes or tremors that we would have noticed?
The last one on record was recorded just over 2 years ago.
All right, this is purely OOC. There's an item called a thermal cube, which is a common magic item. A 3-inch cube of solid brimstone generates enough dry heat to keep the temperature between 15 feet of it at 95 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh wow, is that a
It's a common item, so I technically, according to Raw, I can any of the replicate magic items, any of that list. In addition to that list, I can choose any common. Now, if you say, "Oh, that's not a common," that's definitely an uncommon or better, then I wouldn't be able to take it. But as long as you consider a common magic item, which is what it's listed as, I can take it as a replicate magic item infusion.
Is it a official item?
Yeah. Well, no. Yes. Apparently, the source is the Icewind Dale adventure.
Oh.
So no.
Oh, it's this adventure.
Yeah, like the source is this adventure. So I guess that's not technically. I guess the answer is technically no.
I will say because it's in this. I've read this adventure so many times, and I can't remember seeing this thing. So for now, let's say that this is off the table for now, because it's starting to come back to me where this is at. So let's leave this off the table.
But yeah, I'm just
goddamn
thinking,
artificers fucking up the shit. they're fucking shit. Goddamn artificers.
yeah, because it's powerful, especially compared to the other common items. It's a lot more powerful than the other common items, I think. So if you want to say it's like an uncommon or better, I would understand completely.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's probably where we'll put it, because that,
Because the other
Is it-
common items are like, it's a pole that can also turn into a fishing pole.
or it's a sword that's also a flower, but it
Yeah.
can only become a flower once.
Yeah, that's what common items are. So it's not quite in the common item, which seems to happen a lot of times. Like more anyway. Looks like lost ingots are winning.
Absolutely. So yeah, that is close by. So you guys would be able to get there in a matter of minutes because it is right down the road.
All right. Does anyone have a problem, OOC, with me sending this letter that I put into RP chat to Sylvie?
I am honestly curious to see where or how this ends up. So sure.
All right. Are we still streaming?
I still object on the grounds that as an automaton, you can't have the heretic zeal. Just because a thing is like real and it exists in this universe doesn't mean it's going to pick up the phone when you call. I mean, isn't that a thing with clerics? Like they can ask for their deity to intercede, but it's not until you get to like level 20 that you have like a higher percentile chance of summoning them, or like speaking to them.
Divine intervention is a thing.
I agree with what you're saying, except for the part that actually prevents someone from being zealous. I don't think that would stop someone from being zealous.
I don't know. I want to see where this goes, honestly.
I mean,
does it make sense? Probably
please
not.
Do it does not. Because again, it's an automaton. They're driven by logic. They're a goddamn engineer.
Let me put it this way. You don't know Akia how you think. The way you think Akia is not how you think. Is not how he is.
Okay, I'm wrong. That is okay.
Yeah, I think I just have to put it that way. You have misinterpreted their personality.
All right.
And I think it'll come up in an interesting way later.
Out of character, I'm just looking forward to all this like relationship drama stuff that I am certain is going to happen between us and possibly Master Watto.
Yes, that is the that's why I want to see where this goes, honestly.
Yeah. And if it really bothers you, I'll message it to you. His basically, but I think it would be kind of spoilery.
No. I'm just being obtuse because I can.
Should I read that? Should I read the letter out loud now, or can everyone just want to go to RP chat and look at it?
You're okay to read it right now. So as you guys are sitting around the table,
they can't go to RP chat.
I don't know if we have an audience. If they need, they probably need to hear it.
I mean, we have 4 people watching right now.
We do?
We had 6 people earlier.
Oh, okay. Goodness. All right. I'll read it. Are we to that point? I can send this letter?
Yeah, so you guys are still sitting around the table discussing which missions to go after or to go after first. And it looks like you guys, as you're speaking about it, conversing, let's go take care of the dwarf's lost ingots. Then let's go take care of the winter wolves in Dugan's Hole. And then take care of the monster in Mare Dualden. I wanted to ask, because I asked this at the end of the session last time, are we wanting it to work where you guys can 5-star solution all of the missions? Or are you guys wanting it to be more, we do a mission and maybe a second mission from this pool, and then the third kind of drops away?
I want, honestly, I I don't want to have a say in it. I think I want that sort of stuff to stay behind the curtain a little bit. Like, I don't want to know if it's going to drop off or not. Unless like for some reason we've checked in on it and that we know for some in character reason.
I would agree with that. I posted my opinions in the Discord earlier as well. Like, to kind of feel organic, some things may drop off, some things may stay, some things may evolve, they may resolve themselves. Like, I don't know. I don't want to know what that timer is unless it's, the game that I'm running. So I'm fine with not knowing, what's kind of going beyond the scenes unless we're actually investigating it and putting our resources to it.
We will call that an organic solution to the sandbox.
I mean, if that's what the party wants, then let's do it. But I personally, I like my my Rockstar sandboxes, so I want a chance to 5-star everything. But that's me.
I also feel that way at the same time.
Yeah, same here.
So
I do also, as well. But
I also agree with him.
Yeah, it's a little bit of like also that as well. Like, I want to get the platinum trophy.
Yeah, hey Orf, we want a 5-star, but we want it to feel organic.
Make it work, game engine. Make it work.
You got it, boys. Put the mods in. Make it work.
All right.
That's all good for me. That's all I'll say.
All right.
I want my horse to fly.
I'm gonna read my letter if that's okay.
Okay, so you guys are sitting around the letter. You've talked about your mission, and then Akia, you've told everyone your plan about your letter, and please take it away.
All right. Dear Sybil Sithreth, I feel Auril's call to action. As her child, I cannot stand idly by as the Ice Knife Killer brings the validity of her offerings, namely the lottery system, into question. Her will to her subjects passed down through the church, give them a system by which they can exercise their faith and devotion. If the killer's irrational lust for death had just been random, I would not have cared. However, they choose to besmirch that system of faith, besmirch the church that blesses Auril's subjects with a way to honor their God, and besmirch Auril herself to dare think themselves better able to judge who to sacrifice. The Ice Knife Killer is a heretic. If the town guards cannot handle the situation, it is up to us. I have entered into a partnership with a local known as the White Lotus. As a Thane, our partnership will be very efficient in aiding my quest. Even though her reasons are different, our end goal is the same, making her an invaluable ally. I once again ask you to consider allocating as much aid as you can into this endeavor, perhaps entering into a full 3-way partnership with Lotus and myself, so that we may better coordinate our efforts. With gratitude, Akia number 13.
Seriously? Are we done with phrasing? Is that not a thing anymore?
Oh my.
Yes, Lotus looks at you and says, Are you really sure? Out of character, I'm fine with it. But she says, like, a 3-way partnership. And,
I believe that gets across my point.
Okay. You're, go for it, then.
I am very interested to see where this goes.
All right. Is there a delivery fee I gotta pay for? So that I don't have to go face to face with Sybil.
Your patron will say, "Well, I know of a delivery service here in Bryn Shander that I could use if you want me to take the letter there to have them send it to them."
Thank you. I would appreciate that. Between you and me, I would rather not speak to Sybil face to face again.
You, small boy, take this over to the Church of Auril.
Your group patron, Danica, looks to you and says, "Now, listening to your letter, you're speaking of the Ice Knife Killer. This has been quite the buzz the last, well, ever since the winter started and people started listening to the Church of Auril and the humanoid sacrifices, and then soon after these killings started. Let me ask you, and forgive me if I'm stepping beyond my role, but have you investigated the homes of the killed? Have you investigated the victims themselves into their backgrounds?
That is what
I've
I was
actually-
hoping to do at some point.
Yes.
There is, what's his name, Lotus? Sheriff.
Crap. This is the thing where in character me would remember, but out of character me
Yeah,
is
I'm also
spacing on it
scrolling
right
through
now.
my- scrolling through my
I'm
notes as
okay
well.
with big tiefling sexy pants.
No, this sheriff here is
Sheriff of
different.
Bryn-
Markham. Sheriff Markham.
Yes,
Like,
South-
have we met that sheriff?
We have not. We know of him, but we not met him. Except for
Lotus
Lotus.
Lotus would have told you of him and said that, yes, the sheriff, he's actually the one who had helped nurse me back to health after I was brought here by the traptors after my incident.
Yes, I was hoping to maybe speak with him at some point. Maybe he has a collection of the reports that his guards have given him about killing that happened here in Bryn. And, well, we already spoke to the speaker in Targos, and, well, that's kind of where we got that. And then all that leaves is East Haven. Try and figure out what happened there, and then collaborate all the reports that we have and see if there's a common thread between them. Maybe something that the authorities have overlooked.
I'm beginning to suspect that the Church of Auril is involved, and that perhaps Sybil herself is the Ice Knife killer. I don't have any proof of this yet, but it is just a feeling. I also feel like I might not have caught on earlier that she might have been threatening me with the next drawing.
You see that Alicia is very much biting their lip. I am a member of the Church of the Morning Lord, and I will not throw accusations without formal proof.
Yes. Yeah, it's this theory, but I believe it would be best for you to keep that to yourself until we have some sort of substantial evidence.
Of course. I was simply sharing what I was thinking with my companions.
Yeah, but you would definitely see that Alicia probably agrees with your theory, just cannot officially say it. As we said, not exactly sure who is listening in this room.
Yes, and being a Thane, Lotus feels pretty much the same.
Oh yeah, that too.
OOC, you just don't want to pay lip service to this theory about the Ice Knife killer being from the Church of Auril.
Yeah.
I like that. Lip service, Auril. I see where you're going with that.
Damon, where's your witty one-liner at?
Oh, that's right. Gaiman went off. Maybe we should go after him and give him the money that we just got from Danica.
Speaking of Gaiman,
I think he got paid before he left.
I think he walked out before he got payment.
Speaking of Gaiman, I think I may have an idea of why he might be upset.
Oh.
He's upset because I had insulted him and how he looked after and she just makes a hand motion, just sort of like mimicking taking off her mask.
Oh, I thought he was just bored.
Well, that could be the case too, but still, I think it would be right if I apologized to him. It wasn't fair for me to take out how I was feeling on him.
Well, we won't 100% know unless we actually speak with him, or if he's willing to share his thoughts. But that could work. But in any case, I think he probably would like to have the money that was paid to him, so we may as well go find him. I think he said he went to the Black Iron Blades. I wonder if they can do
Yes,
something
we
about
should-
this fox fur.
We should probably go after him. But as she does, Lotus will get a bit of a hitch in her step and go over towards Master Watto. Just say, Master Watto, I wanted to ask you, what did you think of my poem? And please be honest.
You see, Lotus, as you are walking over to Master Watto, that they are still reading your poem kind of line for line, and they are kind of going over kind of each of the stanzas, and you can tell that they are reading it because you can see their lips moving, and they look up and they say, "Oh, Lotus, I've been reading and rereading your poem as I often like to do with poetry. It is a lost art, I feel. Not many poets here in Icewind Dale, not many at all. I say, this poem moved me quite. Dancing like flames, mesmerizing. Dark disquiet playing such eerie harmonies. Waves and diving under lightning. Sound of thunder. It is evocative. I wonder how it would sound if music were played to it, Lotus.
At this, Lotus would get a bit of a flush under her cheeks and just says like, "Oh, you're too kind, Master Watto."
And forgive me if this comes out bumbling, but I don't think it is kind when you speak the truth. I am just being true. This is a great poem, and I'm very happy that you shared it with me. And Lotus, what inspired these words?
Well, these more come from personal experience, and I would love to talk with you more about that sometime, but I have important matters to attend to. But I do hope to see you again soon so we could talk more about literature.
Of course, I have a book of poems that I think would interest you greatly. They are, I have to say, quite raucous. They are written by members of the cult of Grazd. I don't know if you have learned of Grazd in your studies or seen any of his literature before. It is quite rambunctious.
Ooh, Master Watto, I wasn't aware you were into such things, she says with a bit of a sly grin.
Everyone in the bar can see Master Watto begin to blush slightly. Oh, I may have revealed something about myself I did not intend. Yes, it is, of course, purely for academic purposes. He says as he's like scratching his head and closing his eyes.
Yes, of course, but if you'll excuse me, I have some important matters to attend to, but should you need anything from me, you know where my cottage is. You may feel free to leave me a message, or if you like. And she's looking very awkwardly to try to find a way to exit the conversation. Just says like, it looks over at the door. Says like, Akia, where are you going? You shouldn't be leaving so soon on your own. It's dangerous.
Master Watto will just say, bye, Lotus. I will see you soon. I am going to coordinate with Danica.
It is quieter out here.
Lotus will quickly jog over to catch up, and as she does, Lotus will take an arm, take one of her arms and wrap it around yours and just say like, Akia, would you be a dear and please escort us to our next destination?
Certainly. Gives a nod.
DM, did I hear that thing about Graz?
Yes.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. The Master Watto loves to read the poetry of the cult of Grazd and the spicy things that they get up to. whatever that might be.
Purely for academic reasons, though.
Purely for academic reasons. The same reason that go ahead.
With my proficiencies, will I need to roll something for further understanding, or I guess my proficiencies and my background?
I would say no, not at all. You would know who Grazd is and what type of activities would be described in their poetry book.
Gotcha. All right. I think they'll just follow the rest of the group silently.
Absolutely. As you all are exiting, Danica would say to Raylan, Thane Raylan, before you go, is there anything that you would like me to take care of? I know that meeting got quite rowdy and ruckus, and I didn't quite hear too much from you and would love to hear more.
No, just make sure that we're not being followed.
Of course. I will do my best as I head off to the delivery service to get this letter sent to the Church of Auril.
Thank you.
And she will nod, and she will head out with her and Master Watto. All right, and it sounds like you guys are heading to the Black Iron Blades. But before you guys
arm in arm,
go ahead.
arm in arm with Akia as we do. But yeah, it looks like Matthew had his hand raised.
Matthew, what's up?
So I know we sort of skip having to do a long rest. We do like heroic level ups during the middle of the day and stuff. And my infusions changed because of my level up. Would I be able to go ahead and do the new infusions?
Yeah, that is absolutely fine. We are in town. You guys are in a sanctuary. I'm not gonna.
All right. Then, if it's okay, I would like to hand out magic items to the group.
Yay, magic items!
All right. So they look like hex bugs, but instead of the little rubber nubs, they're tendrils, and that's how they empower the different items that are being infused. Unless anyone would be like, no, you can't touch my items, which that would be fine too, but everyone seemed to be okay with it. Akia would just be like, these are just experiments. They will fall apart over time. They're just temporary. Just to check out the properties, see if they work okay before permanent versions are made. Let's start with Gaiman. Gaiman, your javelin is now a... I say now, put an asterisk on that now. Your javelin is possibly a +1 javelin of returning. So
just a single javelin, is that correct?
Correct. It's now has a magnetic field that activates after it gets to its full reach. The electromagnet activates and it snaps back to your hand. +1 to damage rolls, +1 to attack rolls. White Lotus, your mask has a hex bug attached to the side. It gives you +1 to your spell attack rolls. Alicia has Goodmead, the dagger, and also a +1 shield. All of these have asterisks on them for right this second. And Raylan has an amulet that is a +1 for attack rolls. That does not affect your savings throws. That, like, if you cast something that requires a saving throw, it does not affect your damage rolls. Same thing, Lotus. It just this enhanced focus is just +1 to attack rolls. So if everyone would roll a d20, please.
Oh.
And we got to see which one is active or not, because you only get 2.
Uh-huh. So we have to see which ones malfunction immediately. All right. So Raylan's and White Lotus, your foci, both malfunction immediately. They just fizzle out.
I suppose it's the thought that counts.
Well, that's why we
Alright,
must do experiments.
She'll hold the hex bug in her hand and just say, like, it's alright, it's cute in its own way.
I will continue to work on that one. Alicia, you can choose which one of those hex bugs works, because one of them fails and one of them works. So either your shield works as a +1 shield, or you have Good Mead, which is a +1 to attack, +1 to damage, and returning.
I
So
won't say
it's a
no to a +1 AC bump.
Okay, so you have a +1 shield, and Game in the Glaive, you have a Javelin of Returning, which is a +1 javelin that goes back to your hand after you throw it.
I can stick a lot of foxes with this.
All right, thank you, Worf. That was fun.
My pleasure. Okay. Yes. So, as you guys are making your way to the Black Iron Blades, at the same time, Gaiman was making their way to the Black Iron Blades. So, let us go there. So, Gaiman, let me hit the old Black Iron Blades map button. And we should have a cameraman in there, so everyone should be able to see what's going on. Dolores, the cameraman. So, Gaiman, as you enter, you see that there are 5 dwarves in here. There are 2 female dwarves and 3 male dwarves. One of the male dwarves is kind of working at the forge, hitting the bellows, and doing what a smith should be doing in a smith shop. You see the female dwarf that is working behind the counter seems to be staring at the logbook with her hands kind of pressed hard to the side of her head, looking obviously frustrated. The 3 dwarves that are in the entryway, kind of similar to you, are all dressed in their full cold weather clothing, looking very worse for wear as they peruse the wares.
Gaiman will look around. He'll heft the bear and he'll walk up with it to the dwarf at the counter.
Welcome to the Black Iron Blades. My name is Elza Black Iron. How can I help you?
My name's Gaiman. Got this here bear, and I need to turn it into like a cloak or something.
Oh, okay. I think that we could make that happen easily enough. 1 bear into a cloak, and you're simply wanting this to be like a form of cold weather clothing?
Oh, I mean, it's more than just like a piece of cold weather clothing. It's going to be a statement. Oh, I'm the one that killed it.
Oh, well, of course. You are. You look like a mighty warrior, and you look quite seasoned. Let's see here. And she starts looking in her logbook, similar to if you've ever gone furniture shopping. She's looking at the catalog. I believe that we could skin the bear, tan it, and turn it into a fine cloak for the low price of 15 gold pieces.
Does I heard about these things called dick counts. Do I get a dick count for being a Thane?
She looks to you and she is going to make an insight check to see if she knows what you're speaking of. She says, "Oh, a discount.
Yeah, that's what. That's what I said.
You're-
Discount.
You're a Thane of what town?"
I can't remember. I have to look it up real quick.
No problem. And as you're discussing that, being a Thane, the three dwarves that are standing behind you begin kind of elbowing one another and mama, and they're kind of grumbling back and forth and pointing at you.
Yeah, I've got voted to be the Thane of Caer Konig.
Oh, the Thane of Caer Konig, is it?
Yeah.
Well, perhaps before we discuss our business, perhaps my friends behind you would have some business to discuss with you.
All right, I guess.
As you turn around, you see the three stocky figures bundled in cold weather guard, but kind of stumble closer to you. You see each of them have snowshoes slung over their backs and ice picks fastened to their belts. Two of them have thick beards. The third holds up a gloved hand and says through a thick wool scarf in a raspy voice, "Well met. I'm Haruna. These are my friends, Korux and Storn. We're in need of help, and you look capable." And she looks you up and down, which is easy and hard for her to do at the same time because she's a dwarf.
Yeah, I suppose. What seems to be the trouble?
Oh, well, as a Thane of 10 Towns, I'm sure you would be interested to help members of Clan Battlehammer. We're the lone survivors of a group tasked with delivering a sled of iron to Bryn Shander. A Yeti surprised us and killed a member of our group. The rest of us fled as the Yeti tore Ubuk limb from limb. Now we need someone to go back and get the sled for us. As payment, we could offer you some gemstones. The friendship of the dwarves of the Dwarven Valley of Clan Battlehammer. And you'll need snowshoes to make the trip in good time.
So if I do this, do I not get the snowshoes like to use for this mission thingy?
Oh, of course. You could even use ours. We're not using them. One size fits all, they say.
Right. Not it. Yeah, my mum said to always be nice to dwarves, because we're not distant cousins or whatnot. So yeah, sure. Yeah, what size fits all? Yeah.
Oh, well, that would be quite the boon for us. The iron ingots are quite recognizably ours. You see, they are stamped with our clan's signal, our sigil, a foaming mug.
All right. Was this just outside town, or like where exactly are the ink blots you was talking about?
Well, we were heading from Kelvin's Cairn to here in Bryn Shander when we were ambushed. The sled should be roughly halfway between, in the middle of the tundra.
That's not a whole lot to go off of. How long has it been?
They look to one another. Oh, it's only been a couple of days.
Couple of days. I think it could be anywhere. All right.
As you look at Haruna, you see that she has lost her right ear and a few fingers. Korux seems to have lost even more fingers and his nose. And Strahd, even though you guys are indoors, he keeps looking up to the ceiling and kind of looking around up to the sky.
Do the missing bits of the bodies look like they were lost due to frostbite, or like they were like nibbled off or something?
They look like they were lost due to frostbite.
Oh, this is going to take me a minute. You don't know where a bloke could get like something special. Like not like crystals for barter, but like crystals for like that sort of thing.
They look around to one another and they say, "Are you speaking of hag crystal?"
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. I didn't say that. You said it.
Matthew, can you right-click the good bead and then send it to Alicia?
Oh, yeah, that's a thing. I forget about that.
Well, as you're working on
no,
that...
I can't.
Okay, I got you.
It's because whenever I start up the game, or you said this last time, it's because when I start up the game and it's like select your character, the only option I have is cameraman. Is what you told me last time is why it's not working.
Hey, the beautiful thing is, I can send it to Alicia. For some reason. Okay, Gaiman, they look to you and say, well, from what we know, we've heard people who really like hag crystal. The source for it is out of East Haven. So if you're wanting hag crystal, I want to look around there.
If look, a friend of mine was like looking for that. Not saying that they are, but if they were, I mean, you're saying that's the source, but like, can you get any like? Can it be found here in town? Is there somebody, some shady motherfucker who deals in that sort of thing?
They look around and they say, well, if you're looking for someone shady, of course. And they say, if you're wanting a drug dealer for your friend, then Forrest von Stain is who you need to find.
And where do you find Forrest Stain?
Well, from our knowledge, he operates out of that Bouncy Goat Inn.
God damn it, I was just there! All right. All right, thank you.
Our pleasure. Well, yeah, so, and please, we're here and available to answer any and all questions about the sled, what was on it, and all of that goodness. And I would think as you guys are starting up the conversation, Akia, Alicia, Raylan, and Lotus, that's when you guys would open the door and enter into the Black Iron Blades and see Gaiman speaking with these dwarves.
Oh no.
Yep. You would see Lotus actually walking arm in arm with Kia, and as she walks in, she's like, "And you see, Akia, this is the shop of the Black Iron Blades."
Intriguing.
Fucking cold out here.
And as Lotus walks in, she gives a bright smile and says, "Hello, everyone. It's good to see you all. Allow me to introduce my fellow Thanes, Alicia, Raylan, and the lovely Akia 13.
The Black Iron dwarves that are working behind the counter give you a stiff grunt. The three dwarves that are there speaking with Gaiman all look to you all and say, "Wait,
What?
That's the Thane of Bryn Shander, and you're the Thane of Karakonic.
Yeah.
Are you all a group?
Yeah, we're a group of Thanes, is that what you mean? Yeah.
Oh, well, this is highly coincidental, but very good for this. I was hoping that you wouldn't have to do this alone. Hello everyone, my name is Haruna Battlehammer, and I'll pop up her art here. I was just speaking with your friend Gaiman about potentially rescuing our entire shipment of iron ingots.
Yeah,
Ah,
so
yes.
how exactly did these ingots go missing?
Oh, well, I was just discussing with our
Yeti
friend Gaiman.
attack.
Oh. Yeti?
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like a bit of fun, really. You know, you're hunting and killing Yeti part, not so much like being attacked by one. I'm sure that makes you shit yourself.
Yes, it was quite terrifying, to say the least. Thane, Gaiman. We were attacked by...
Just Gaiman.
Oh, excuse me. By Gaiman. We were attacked by a Yeti, and it did kill one of our members. Poor Obuk. And we just ran away. There was nothing we could do. We aren't warriors like the other members of Clan Battlehammer. And we've been seeking help for the last 2 days.
Lotus will come over and be like, well, as Thane of Bryn Shander, you certainly have my condolences for your loss.
Well, I sincerely appreciate that, Miss Lotus. Yes, it was quite terrible. We were, just transporting our load of ingots from our mine at the base of Kelvin's Care, getting almost about halfway here, and then, boom, Yeti attack.
Was it a single Yeti, or were there several of them?
It was one Yeti, but the snow, the cold, the haze, it was terrible.
We were to, could you point us at least an approximate location where this horrible incident occurred?
She nods and she says, do any of you all have a map of the region? I would be glad to put down a map.
I imagine one of us has a map, right?
I believe Lotus canonically has a map.
And I'll take you guys
She
to
will
the...
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yep, we'll take out our map, unfurl it onto the table in front of them.
And these dwarves took the short way, which is potentially the most dangerous way from Karakonic to Bryn Shander. They did not go in a straight, following a path. They basically tried to do one of these.
Yep, that'll do it.
Which is, how you say, not advisable.
They tried to save 1 hour.
You guys know that person who would do that.
Yeah, Lotus wouldn't say anything, but she would just be thinking to herself that this is why you don't stray from the path.
And actually, since there's not a path, it's actually slower. They're like, but you save gas this way.
Man, I feel like this is you speaking from a
little bit experience.
Personal experience.
Anyway.
Anyways, doesn't want to.
While we're actually on this map, when we were at Bremen and that lady, and we were like thinking that there's like a castle here and a destroyed castle here, or vice versa, that those people might be in. Ed, Gaiman didn't remember which town he was from. I kind of want to ask Gaiman. We can do that later. We can ask Gaiman if he remembers anything. I just don't want to forget if he knows anything about that, like that group, since he's from Karakhonig.
Absolutely.
Are we asking Gaiman right now, or just later on?
Well, I figured other people might have questions about these ingots.
Okay.
Yeah, so we are still in the Black Iron Blades. They mark down on the map exactly where it is. I'll take us back to the map. And they say, yes, whatever questions you have, we're willing to answer. And like we told Gaiman, if you can bring our ingots back, there's gemstones in it for you.
Oh, there's a reward.
She nods. Gemstones? The friendship of the clan Battlehammer. And our cousins here are more likely to give you a deal. She points at the black iron dwarves that are working the forge and working the books.
That would be quite nice. One moment. Gaiman.
Yeah.
Oh, Alicia will turn him around and will pass him a small pouch. You feel that it is filled with something. You kind of walked out before you got payment for from Danica. 50 gold.
Oh, sweet. Oh. All right, let me put that away.
So how many ingots were you transporting originally, might I ask?
She looks to you and says, well, it was a complete wagon full. And let's see, it was roughly 600 pounds of ingots.
Oh, that's
And-
quite a bit.
Yes, and they're cut into 10-pound blocks, so we're looking at 60 ingots.
I do wonder if we'll be able to transport these. We might need to bring some sort of pack animal to
Were
pull the sled.
That
Were
was
these
going-
ingots on a cart?
She nods. Yes, they were on our sled.
That was going to be my next question. What kind of animal were you using to transport these things?
They kind of look back and forth to one another. Well, there was 4 of us dwarves, and well, we were actually pushing the sled ourselves. We were, all 4 of us were holding on to the reins and pulling it.
Ah. I mean, pack animals would be a little bit quicker. Is there a particular reason why you didn't rent one?
They look around and they say, we're really cheap. We don't want to pay for that. And plus, they say it keeps us fit and in shape to do such things.
Okay.
Can't argue with the cost.
Well, I don't know about you all, but I don't know if I want to have 600 pounds through the snow. Plus,
Yes, we should.
I'm sorry.
If most of the sled survived, I can repair it.
Plus, maybe we can think of it as an investment, because it seems we're more or less sticking together, so we're going to be traveling quite a bit through 10 towns, all the different settlements. Maybe we should have something that travels along with us. Though, if we do get an animal, that does mean that we're also have to buy something to feed it with.
OOC, we just need one of those rescue dogs with the booze on their collar from the old cartoons.
Saint Bernard.
Yeah.
I don't know if a single Saint Bernard's going to carry 600 pounds.
Yeah, it's OOC. That's all we need with the little tiny barrel on their collar with the booze in it, and they find.
For the record, they never share the martini, so that's out.
Yeah, they never share the martini with the frozen person.
Well, if you all are worried about animals, do any of you ride axe beaks? You could probably purchase some axe beaks.
Flashbacks.
That could be useful. Let's see if...
I don't fucking trust axe beaks.
Wait, why?
I had a bad experience with one. Tried to kill me. It did.
Okay, so no axe beaks. Well, maybe we can check the stables and see if they have something that we can use.
My first week in Waterdeep, I run it, get a job in a stable, and the fucking thing tries to eat me.
Okay, man, what do you recommend?
I don't know. We never use pack animals.
Should we just pull the sled, save the expense?
Yes, maybe Gaiman should be our mule.
There's always a chance we get attacked
Fuck
by a
off.
Yeti.
What? Oh, I am not a goddamn mule.
Calm down. It's just the most logical solution.
I mean,
Alright.
I don't know. And Lotus will once again wrap her arm around Akia's and just say, like, Akia here seems like they might be strong enough to pull such a thing, wouldn't you?
My arms are still damaged. I don't believe that would be an optimal solution.
Well, in any case, it seems like we are willing to accept your quest.
Well, that's perfect. I mean, if you're not up for axe beaks, what about a sled dog?
I
Ooh, I love dogs.
feel like multiple dogs would be needed for a wagon of that weight. But it's possible.
Well, those ingots have been missing for how long?
2 days.
2 days.
2 days. So they'll probably be there if we need to make more than one trip.
We can probably just pull the sled. If we all work together.
And by what do you mean, me?
Why would you be the only
Oh.
one pulling?
Gaiman, we could all pull it. I mean, admittedly, I'm not too terribly strong, but I'm willing to put work in.
If it comes down to it, so am I.
Don't sound so
Work
excited.
the dream work, after all.
But the longer we stay in here, the more snow it's gonna pile onto it. So maybe we should get a move on.
I agree.
I need to I need to make a pit stop.
Oh, where do you need to go? Perhaps I could direct you. I know this town like the back of my hand.
No. I mean, I know where to go. I just need to go back to Bouncy Goat.
Oh, would you like some us to accompany you?
No, I'm good.
Oh, Gaiman, I did want to talk to you for a moment before you head off.
Okay. Yeah. Listen. Let me finish dealing with the bear situation. I got to see a man about a dinosaur, and then there we can go.
All right, I'll just I'll wait for you over by the door then.
As you're going to leave, your DM will ask you all, do you have a meetup spot? And where will that be and when?
I think these guys are just waiting outside the door.
I think he's talking about when Gaiman tries to go get drugs.
Oh, for his thing.
I think Aki would just be like, well, we'll just go with him so we can leave as soon as he's ready.
No, that's fine. That's I'm very glad I can look after myself. No need to chaperone. Yeah, I got this.
Then I guess we would go ask. I would guess we would just go investigate the families of the killer's victims and ask if any of them were like questioning the church, questioning the lottery system.
You know what? That sounds like an excellent use of your time. I'll wrap up here, and then I'll meet you at the north gate. Yeah.
I was going to suggest that.
I think the east gate.
Whatever. The gate we keep fucking using.
I don't think we want to use that one. I think we want to go out the east gate.
Bloody hell. Find the east gate. We'll meet there.
All right.
Okay, I love it. So we're going to have another quick split here of the party. So one of you, it sounds like, is going to the Bouncy Goat, while the rest of you are going potentially to see the sheriff.
Yeah. Before we leave, Alicia would ask this nice dwarven lady if they could probably get a head start on the whole turning the fox into a fur shawl.
Okay, and this was the fox that was on Gaiman's glaive, correct?
Yeah. I think I had
on the javelin.
Yeah, because I think I had asked if I could keep the fox.
No issue. Yeah, Eliza Blackiron will look to you and say, "Oh, of course, we can work on something like that. I think 15 gold pieces, and I can turn that into a fantastic shop."
Wait. I mean, is that the discounted rate, or are you trying to, like, I don't know. That seems fishy. So it's 15 gold pieces for the fox stole, and then he said it's 15 gold pieces for the bear.
Yes, and I'm more than willing to give you all your discount when the ingots are returned to my cousins. Once that is turned in, I'm more than willing to negotiate a permanent discount for the Thanes of 10 Towns.
All right. Yeah, that sounds good. So is this like pay up front sort of deal, or like we say we're good for it? Like, how does this work?
Well, Thane, Alicia, if you'd like me to begin work on it immediately, you could expedite that process, and I will put all other side projects aside if you were to pay up front. Otherwise, I could take the materials from you and begin the job when we have time.
I think that's probably more appropriate. I don't believe this is a rush job.
Well, alrighty. Well, yes, we can pay for it the next time you are in, and if that is with ingots, I am more than happy to give you your discount.
Thank you.
All right, but there's just a small matter. Like, you're charging me 15 gold pieces for the bear, which is not fucking huge, and then you're only charging 15 gold pieces for, the fur fox stole, which is itty bitty in comparison. And like, that doesn't make sense. It's like the pricing scale is like way off on that.
Well, I'm glad to explain that.
From my understanding, it sounds like a rebate system. If we come back with the ingots, then you'll pay me back the difference, correct?
Oh, I would more than be happy to do that if you're wanting.
No. I asked to include like discounts. Like, I was quoting 15 gold pieces when I came in with the bear. And like, yeah, skin it and like turn it into like, the fur cloak type business. And then like same price quote for the fox. Like, that doesn't make good business sense. Like, you're paying the same rate for like 4 times, 100 times the work. So that doesn't make sense.
I can explain the difference, Gaiman. Elza will say. When I heard Shaw and I see this this winter fox that Alicia has presented, there's going to be a lot more artistry and design work and fine needlework that will need to be done. Also, it appears that there's a giant hole in the middle of it that I will need to be patching up. The bear is, for what we need to do, it will actually be a simpler job for all of the room and area that it has. It's going to be harder to working on the fox.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. So yeah, I guess I'll pay you when we get back. You know, with the discount and all whatnot.
And we will have a fresh wagon of ingots for you as well.
We'll be excited to see it. Myself, my brother, Garn there. Garn looks back to you guys and grunts as he's hammering away on a blade. And the 3 Battlehammer dwarves are looking excitedly at you all at the mention. As you guys are looking potentially around the shop ambiently, you notice that the blades... Wolf. What a bunch of uninspired, cheap work. It is just terrible stuff.
Oh no.
As you're looking at the blades and the armor, just terrible.
Wow.
I'm not going to say anything. But we'll see how this turns out.
Okay, so you guys have all the information you need here, it sounds like. So you guys are going to diverge and exit, is what I'm getting.
Yeah. All Akia wants from the person we're going to see is basically a list of the victims and where they lived, and if they happen to have found out any connecting information. But sounds like they haven't.
Sure. Okay, so you guys are exiting the shop, heading out into Bryn Shander, separating.
Goodbye, Gaiman.
Yep. Goodbye, Gaiman. It is light outside, so you guys don't have to worry about light. So let me take you guys to the Bryn Shander map. And...
Well, I'm glad it's light outside, because I'm feeling kind of tired. I really don't want to deal with anything heavy right now.
Light in appearance, light in the illumination, all around just light. So the group that is going to see the sheriff. You guys know that you would find the sheriff at the council hall. Is where he typically hangs out.
On the other side of town.
Mm-hmm.
To remind you of it, where would Lotus's Thane Thane's cottage be?
The Thane residence?
Yes.
I always like to do this in my games because I feel like it's fun. I'm going to hand you a piece of player agency here. Where in the city would you like the Thane cottage to be?
Tell you what, I'll take some time to think it over while we're doing this.
Sure.
So I don't hold up everybody.
Sure. So yeah, you guys would approach the council hall. Like much of the city architecture here in Bryn Shander. Simple. High arched roof so that the snow kind of sloshes off the sides. Inside it is remotely busy. with the goings on goings of council hall staff, and inside you would see that Sheriff Markham is essentially dealing with his staff, which would be the guardsmen that are operating in and around Bryn Shander and around the gates.
Lotus would walk in. This time not arm in arm, but still sticking close to Akia, and just say like, and just walk in and just say like, "This is the council hall, and oh, Sheriff, it's so good to see you. How are you? How are you and your? How is everyone holding up here?"
Oh, Thane Lotus, it's good to see you. Oh, I do recognize the Thanes of other 10 towns. Well, welcome to the city of Bryn Shander. I assume that you all are on official business.
Yes, we've decided to take up the case of the ice knife killer. She says with a visible shudder.
Oh, the ice knife killer. Well, if you're on the case, perhaps I could share with you the information that I have.
Like that would be great, thank you. And please, you may treat the other Thanes here much like you would with me.
Oh, all right. Well, it's nice to meet all of you all. If you do not know, my name is Sheriff Southwell. The information, of course. Well, the murders have a few things in common. First, all of the victims lived in towns that hold lotteries to determine who to sacrifice to Auril. Of course, Bryn Shander, Targos, and Haven. As I was investigating into the glassblower that was killed here in Bryn Shander, I heard some interesting things about them. Apparently, they had been overheard bragging that they had bribed city officials to keep their name out of the lottery. I have no evidence to solidify that claim. There may be something to do with it. Well, secondly, go ahead. Sounds like you were about to say something.
I was just gonna say it's interesting that someone claims to have bribed their way out. Who would one bribe to do that?
Well, hypothetically, the setup and how I understand it, the Church of Auril has instructed us to do these sacrifices of life, warmth, or food, but the city council has conducted the lottery. So, if you could find a way, I don't know how you would, to get into the pocket of one of our upstanding officials, then it could potentially be possible, but why would you want to do that? He looks uncomfortably lawful good as he is looking up to the ceiling.
Yes.
At least he's not looking annoyingly lawful stupid.
Why would someone want to break the law like that?
Lotus would, because as he was speaking, she was taking notes, and she would just gently tap her finger on the page and say, "You would be surprised, Sheriff. The city I originally came from, well, I used to be what they called a reporter, and I worked a lot of the crime beats, and you'd be surprised how Easily, someone in power can be swayed by money.
Well, if that is true, then maybe there's some merit to that. I don't know if that is true for the other two or cities or the murders that have happened in East Haven and Targos, but at least that's the rumor about the glassblower.
That does give us something to work with at least. Has anyone checked the glassblower's residence?
Unfortunately, I have been so busy with guard rotation and setting up defenses for Yeti and Remores attacks. I've not been able to look deeper into the glassblower's residence.
Lotus writes that down as on her to-do list.
And it could potentially be circumstantial, but based on my records, all of the murders that have been happening in Brinchander, Targos, and East Haven happened while the merchant company Torgs was in town. You know, the pop-up market?
Oh, I was actually there the other day.
It's an interesting coincidence. She sounds very curious as she does write that down in her notebook.
Yeah, I always like to keep track of where Torga Icewind, the owner of Torgs, is. She always seems to cause a little stir in my guards when she arrives. They're always trying to go off to buy something, whether it's new gear, rat traps, or hopefully not that hag crystal that's been plaguing the realm.
So, just to be sure, the sacrifices would happen on the new moon, and then shortly thereafter, Torga's market would be in town?
Not, yes, based on my records, the sacrifice would happen, Torgs would show up in town, and lo and behold, I believe they're in towns for 48 hours. A murder would occur within that 48-hour time span.
And you haven't thought that odd.
Well, all I have is circumstantial evidence. I don't have anything more than that. And with my duties here in Brinchander, I can't expand my search further.
And it would be hard to, I guess, press Torga. Since she contributes to the economy of 10 towns in her own weird way.
Yes, and every merchant across the 10 towns would rather face a white dragon in battle than cross her.
Well, this little bit of news does give us at least something to work with. Do you happen to know what direction they were headed? We had just come from Bremen and Targos area, and we didn't come across their caravan.
Says, let's see, by my notes, their rotation would take you, and he looks down to his notes. Looks like they're going to be in Lonelywood for the next 2 days.
Freyland's ears perk up and she makes direct eye contact with the sheriff. Interesting. Well, I feel like it's probably time to head back home for a while then. I suppose he knows that Raylan is the Thane of Lonelywood and would understand why that is concerning.
Absolutely. You say, well, perhaps it is something that you all could investigate as Thanes of 10 Towns.
Well, Sheriff, do you have anything else meaningful to tell us before we set off?
Says, I wish I had any more information, but that's all I have for the moment.
I know that you and your staff have been working very hard, and believe me, you have been quite helpful. We certainly hope that we can do our part to help bring this horrible person to justice.
Sheriff, if I may ask one question. And I know this is a terrible question to ask. However, if you wanted to bribe someone to have your name removed from the lottery, who would you ask?
He says, oh, well, you would need someone very close to the speaker. Well, there's only a few people that would fit that description. There's Larsa Dinholm, Dominic Barkridge, and Laguna Cross, but I don't see any of them being willing to take a bribe. That's just crazy.
Could you write those names down?
Yes.
Okay. And Lotus would speak up. Well, the thing is, most political when they take, and she makes air quotes, it's usually something a bit indirect to avoid arousing suspicion. You know, you usually might offer some sort of lavish gift or pay for a rather expensive dinner or, things like that.
The killer is one thing. But if someone is accepting bribes to remove names from the lottery, that also goes against what I stand for. They are criminals.
I think they're murderers. If they are removing names from the lottery and adding others, that makes them killers.
I would agree with that statement, Raylan.
Well, I can't disagree with the logic, because this ice knife killer has been striking. And if someone is causing this by accepting bribes, then the blood is, in a way, on their hands.
If this bribing is what motivates the killer, then this person who is accepting these bribes is guilty of everything that I have accused the Ice Knight Killer of being guilty of. Mainly saying that to Lotus because she was most involved in the letter writing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Lotus would just a bit of a solemn nod, seeing she's unfortunately familiar with this, and just thinking that even where she's from, corruption can run very deep.
So, out of character, the characters are acknowledging that the Ice Knife Killer is, well, a killer. But they're also acknowledging the fact that the people, like the glassblower, who bribed to get out of the lottery are killers themselves because they're putting somebody else's name in their stead, essentially, by taking their name out of the running. So, does this change anyone's thoughts about whether or not we stop the Ice Knife Killer? Maybe it's justifiable homicide.
It's not exactly. If you just want to like what's the gist of like what Aki is thinking? Like what vibe he's getting off about both of them?
No, you don't have to go that far. I'm just teasing you guys a little bit. They're like, yeah, these guys that are bribing to get them out, names out of the running. They're bad dudes. Like, yeah, but if that's the motivation for the ice knife killer offering them, like, is the ice knife killer the bad guy here? Who's really the bad guy?
I mean, he's still going around murdering people, so
that's still.
Is he though? Is he?
Yes.
I think there's
is it murder or is it a uncomfortable solution?
Yeah, and it sounds more like the killer is someone in Torg's party instead of Sybil. So, also going in another direction now.
Possibly.
We don't want to rule it out completely. It's something to keep in mind, though.
And DM, just to clarify, the towns that use human sacrifice are Brinchander, Targos, and was there another one?
And East Haven. There are 3 that do human sacrifice.
Okay, so then the 3 towns that do human sacrifices are 3 that also get they're having the murders occurring.
Correct. None of the other towns have had these murders.
Right.
All right, I think we're good. I think we're gonna head to Lonelywood after we meet up with Gavin at the wrong gate.
Right. Also, I did find a spot for Thane's cottage. I like this little spot right here.
And you guys have drawing permissions, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can put a dot, a mark, and a message there. My pleasure. Okay, so you guys are exiting the sheriff's council hall, but as he's going, he says, "I've been keeping my tabs on Torgs. Is there anyone in their party that, or you think that could be this killer?"
There is one individual that does stand out. I don't want to be throwing accusations until there's some proof, but do you have any information on this Sephic person? I met him while I was there. Sephic Caltro seemed to have caught my attention.
Oh, yes, I've seen him at Torgs. Quite odd. He doesn't seem to wear a coat or furs or boots or gloves or a hat. Yes.
I also found that quite strange.
Most brilliant blue eyes I've ever seen.
Do you know how long he's been within the employ of Torga?
I would say at least for the last year or so.
And just remind me, when did these murders start occurring?
Oh, it's been at least a year.
It's too much of a coincidence for my liking. Well, in any case, that more than solidifies my mind that we need to speak with Torga and her associate. If it's not him, then maybe they know... Well, maybe they can give someone up within their camp as to who that is, but that's who my current number one suspect is.
Do you want to question them directly or catch them in a trap?
I would most likely want to just ask them directly, but they could probably try and skirt around the issue. I'm all ears for if you have some sort of idea in mind.
I don't, but I'm sure it'll present itself. Lonelywood is full of ears. I'm sure someone's heard something.
Well, I guess we head to Lonelywood. We said we meet Gaiman at the East Gate.
Can we, now that we know where Lotus's house is, can we backtrack and say we wanted to meet there since it was a lot closer?
Sure.
Yeah, we're meeting at her house.
Or you just go to her house after you told Gabe you were going to meet at the East Gate.
Yeah, I kind of feel like we may need to go find Gaiman.
Yeah, or we could
Especially
just
because-
try to find Gaiman, which we should probably do
I
anyway.
feel because of what he's getting up to.
No, I was just saying he goes to the gate and you guys aren't there. That was the joke I was trying to set up, but no, you don't have to go find him. You don't.
Well, we did say the meeting spot was the East Gate.
Yeah, because we thought we were going to go look for iron ingots.
Yeah. Which is
But that could
fine. I think
put
that's
off.
somewhat of a similar direction. Maybe we can go after the ingots after we clear this whole thing out.
Let us go get Gaiman. If anyone's watching us, they may know that we're on to them and may try to isolate and take us out.
Did we know that Gaiman was heading to the Bouncy Goat?
I don't.
That
think
is up to
he-
Gaiman.
I don't think he told us that. I think he learned of it. but
He did.
Okay.
I can't remember who I was speaking with, but he made the joke about he needed to see a man about a dinosaur.
Ah.
All right, then I think we head to the Bouncy Goat, try and catch up with Gaiman before he heads to the gate.
Okay, so there will be a little bit of a free time for Gaiman here. So let me take Gaiman and Cameraman to the Bouncy Goat. Gaiman, you recognize this place for its shoddy exterior, its sticky, wet floors, and perhaps the only place in town where a man can dance. As you look around the crowd, it's kind of sparse. Most people stick to the North Look Inn these days, but you see that there is a man you have not seen before, sitting in the corner.
I mean, that's him. Oi, what was your name?
He looks up. Who's asking?
I'm asking.
He kind of looks you up, looks you down. Forrest von Stein.
All right. In that case, Forrest Stein, it's a paying customer that's asking.
Looks at you and he kind of stands up and says, "Let's go to the back. I've got a standing appointment with the owner. We're always on the lookout for customers. Follow me." And he'll stand up and walk to the back. He nods to the bartender. And we'll wait for you inside. Yes, it is very sticky. It's like walking in the movie theater after a midnight showing, and it's just like,
By the gods, there's nobody cleaned the floor in this place.
oh, I made this seed, and I thought I was using my Icewind Dale commoners, but apparently I was using my Thylean commoners. That's goofy. Okay. He closes the door behind you. He sits down at the table. He says, "So you're looking for what exactly?"
I'm looking for Hag Crystal.
He says, "Are you a member of the city guard? Are you a sheriff's lackey?"
What do you think? Do I look like I'm one of those needle dick fuckheads?
There's only one way to tell for sure. And he takes out a small leather satchel, and he puts out a blue line in front of him, and then he puts a blue line out in front of you. And he leans down and he hovers above it with his nostril closed. And he says, "If you're not a cop, you'll snort this with me."
Oh, gladly.
And he snorts his line and kind of pulls on his nostril and shakes out his eyes for a second. And please give me a Constitution saving throw as you do these drugs.
Our poor muscle boy has become an addict.
Let's see here.
Listen, it wasn't my fault. It's the dice.
Okay, so
I rolled a natty 1 on whether my character had been warned against the evils of drugs and had seen an after-school special.
Yep.
He had not.
Yep.
Okay, you are. You did not fail to get the negative result here, so you did good there. You do get the positive result of doing drugs. So for the next hour, you can add a D6 to any skill check you make. So I'll give you. I'm gonna have to make a special status for this. Hold on, let me see if this guy succeeds or not. Oh yeah, he's an old pro. He says, "Oh, so you're cool. Well, I can sell you some servings of hag crystal. It's 5 gold for one of these." And he holds up a dime bag of crystal.
Ooh, is that like a is that like one of these lines, or does that baggy go a little bit longer?
If you make a line about this long, and he points and makes a line about 2 inches long, that should get you about 3 servings.
So 3 servings a baggie.
He nods.
All right. Do you do bulk discounts?
He says, "Well, for a Thane of 10 Town, perhaps I could. How much are you wanting to buy?"
Well, I was thinking maybe if I not say that necessarily would, but what if I was to get like 10 baggies worth?
Oh, for 10 baggies worth?
Yeah.
I'll cut you a deal. I'll sell them to you for 35 gold.
Sold!
And Gaiman will stick out his hand and not even wait for Forrest to extend his. He's just gonna grab his hand and just pump it vigorously.
He's like, careful on the shoulder. Injured it in an old accident.
What, you take an arrow at the shoulder?
No, I tried goat ball once, and never again.
You trying to play go ball? Listen, mate. If you play with a bunch of guys, you're lucky you're standing.
And he whacks them in the side, just sort of trying to be friendly and in a camaraderie sort of way, and of course hits that shoulder again.
Careful. I'm not as powerful.
Sorry.
But give me a moment. And you see him walk back to one of the counters over here and essentially get you we'll call it a kilo of hag crystal.
Woo!
And he will pass it over to you for the low price of 35 gold pieces.
All right.
Let's see, in today dollars, One gold coin is worth roughly $50. So 35 of those, oof, you just paid a lot for that hag crystal.
I mean, Gaiman's not the smartest, ever. He's going to start trying to count out the gold. He's going to have a lot of false starts. And I think after a certain point, Forrest is just going to have to count the money out for him.
Sure. And knowing that you are watching and that you could crush his head like a watermelon, he counts out just exactly 35 GP.
Of course he does.
And Forrest von Stein says, well, if our business is done, just be careful with that stuff. You don't want to snort it all in one night.
No. I'm planning on, keeping the party going,
He nods. Oh, I know. Once you take it, the party never stops.
All right. Sounds great. So, yeah, what about, I'll be back. Do you lot just hang out here, or do you lot travel around or whatnot? Because I got my first taste at, the Torgus Market, and I don't want to be chasing after this stuff all over.
He says, oh, the main supplier is out of East Haven. I'm just the dealer here in Grinshander.
All right, no, that's good to know. That's important to know. It's just like an open secret, because you're not the second bloke to tell me that today.
He says, no one's going after the supplier. If they do, they're gonna die. He laughs.
That's a pretty bold statement. I mean, not that I want to ruin the party or nothing. It's like, is it like some big guy in a white suit, who's got legions of armed cutthroats around and that sort of thing?
He laughs. He says, it's an old woman in a cave. That's all I know.
That's it? An old lady in a cave? Oh, she's lucky no one's knocked her off. All right. Yeah. Thanks for this. And, yeah. I'll be back when I need some more. Catch you later.
He says, cheers. Enjoy the crystal.
He says to you, so far.
As you're going to leave, have you seen the lady yet? In your dreams?
What? How do you know about her?
Well, when we take it, we all do. We see her cackling face on the snow.
You threatening me?
Looks, he says, no, I'm just asking. Have you seen her face? Have you tried to talk to her yet?
No, she looks unlikable.
Maybe you should. Maybe she'll have something fun to say.
She has something fun to say.
Well, I can't tell you what she told me. I don't want to ruin any surprises or anything else, but maybe next time you see her, you should stop for a chat.
All right. Maybe I'll do just that.
And as you're exiting the back room, I would say this is a good moment for the other PCs to dramatically... Are you guys going to try to intercept inside the bouncy goat? Or are you guys...
Akia waits outside.
Akia waits outside? Okay.
And
still wanting to keep up the sticky.
Yep, still wanting to keep up appearances with Akia. Lotus will be outside with you, and you'll see her just sort of lean back against these crates here, and you'll see her do her usual, like she does, take out a cigarette, put it in her lips, and then do the thing where she just says snap, 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 prestidigitation. It takes a puff and says, "You know, Kia, I always thought that was weird. Like, it always takes me 3 snaps to do it. You would think the way this works, I would only need 1."
And would that mean Alicia and Raylan have gone inside, or are you guys outside?
Raylan waits outside.
Okay.
Same with Alicia.
Okay, you guys are all outside, in the snow and cold.
Oi, love. Do you have, like, ice wine? I'm in the mood for some ice wine. I want to party some!
She looks and says, "I'm sorry, we don't have any ice wine. We've got good mead here. I've got some whiskey that we could potentially use."
I want sweet, not smoky. Ugh, God damn it! Alright, fine.
And he'll make his way out of the bouncy goat.
Why is everything so damn sticky?
As you're walking out, you see the bard, Ziggy Stardust, is actively, as they are singing a song, just throwing mead onto the ground. It's like in the performance, he's like, "And I'm from a freaky place in outer space where we throw our drinks on the ground." And he throws his drink on the ground as he says it.
Where's like this? Is it? Oh, there it is.
Dude, knock that shit off. Don't you know people have to walk here?
He looks at you and says, "Wait, are you trying to interrupt my performance?"
You
Don't you
goddamn
know-
right. You're making everything sticky. It's gross. Take it, ants.
He looks appalled, but he will stop for the moment because you're very large and he is very small.
That's what I thought. Now, get a bucket and a mop and clean this shit up. And if it's not clean when I get back, you'll wish you had.
You see that the bard is kind of running for the back for a mop and a bucket of water.
Is where's the door in here?
Oh, it's over here. Oh, and I was drawing on the map, everyone. Sorry if you're like, what are all these giant purple squares? But yeah, there is the doors there.
Oh, now I can open it.
No. Fancy me, you're not here.
Change of plans.
Oh?
We are headed to Lonelywood to intercept Torgas.
Alright, I thought we would get the ingots and whatnot.
Those ingots will probably still be there.
Yeah, but look, a Yeti cut them off or whatnot.
I don't think a Yeti is going to have much use for the ingots, though.
We've learned more about the Ice Knife Killer. We'll explain on the way.
Well, you don't know that. Have you honestly talked with a Yeti? They could have some very interesting things to say.
Wait, you've actually talked with a Yeti?
No, but like, what if you did?
Oh. You make an interesting point.
We don't know what Yetis are all about. Maybe they have a fancy for ingots. maybe, we just don't understand them, and there's like a cultural and language barrier between us and them, and we're killing each other in a senseless way.
Yeah, Lotus is gonna look very curiously at you and take a puff from her cigarette and say, Gaiman, you might be onto something there.
Onto something what?
Your hypothesis here about the Yetis actually being intelligent, but we just aren't able to understand them.
Hypothesis what now?
He'll give a little bit of a chuckle, just like, I'll tell you about it later. But Gaiman, I did want to tell you something. I wanted to apologize for making fun of you earlier and she does the pantomime of taking off her mask. It was unfair of me to do that to you. My gallows humor is how I deal with the trauma I've been through, and it wasn't right of me to take that out on you. I apologize.
Okay, whatever. Taylor's waiting, wasted. Come on. And Gaiman just starts striding off, not setting a friendly pace. Just like he's just ready to go. Maybe a little too eager to go.
Lotus will put out the remainder of the cigarette against the crate and just follow along with everyone.
Gaiman,
Excellent.
would you say that this behavior is something similar that happened the previous day?
Well, he's not being quite so chaotic, but he's higher energy level than he's been so far.
Yeah.
He's like, it is. You've noticed a difference. Like, you were paying halfway attention to him from this morning. He was, grumpy and lethargic, and he's using his brain.
Yeah. At least.
And he's power walking now, which is kind of weird, but
he's not full on jogging around the campfire, but
no, but he's wanting to go and do.
There's a little bit of similarities there.
Yes,
okay.
That is fair to say.
Alicia will just kind of watch this and keep silent as they try and catch up with Gaiman as he is moving faster.
Is it obvious where Gaiman's going? He's just running off, but I don't think he actually agreed to anything. So we're just following him.
Gaiman, we're going to the north gate.
All right, yep. And then he redirects.
Just have to
Still power walking.
Direct him where to go.
Should we make a stop in Targos to check with Valdemiro Crowtrap's family, that first victim we came across, to see if they had maybe bribed their way out of the lottery?
Do you think they would tell you that?
Maybe.
Really?
If it gets them.
Is this OOC or is this in character?
This was OOC.
Okay.
If we offer hey, we think we might have a connection. If we can find a connection, we can maybe find the killer. Did they? If you're truthful with us, more likely we are to find the killer. Did they bribe their way out of the lottery? Did they ever claim to bribe their way out of the lottery? Did anyone accuse them of bribing their way out of the lottery?
Do you plan on offering them protection once they admit to what they did?
Nope.
Yeah.
But it just increases the chance.
Yeah, they're probably gonna want to have some
Of
sort
revenge.
of reassurance that they're not gonna.
Well, some people just like revenge. Yeah. I don't know. Just something we could ask. We could just stop by and ask real quick, because it's sort of on the way.
Well, Targos would be in the other direction, wouldn't it?
I
think
Targos is on the road to Lonelywood.
Was
if
it?
we stay on the road.
Was Lonelywood to the northwest?
Yep.
Here, let me take us to the...
Yeah, that'd be helpful. Okay. So then we would have to go Targos and then up to Tourmaline and Lonelywood. Yeah, if it's along the road that we're going to be traveling. So wait, what time of day is it right now? It looks like it's noon. About?
Yes, there is still dim light. Will be for the next hour and a half.
So we'd be getting to Targos a little bit before 2, give or take. And then Tourmaline probably by like end of day. Tourmaline Lonelywood by like end of day.
Yes, if you guys were doing a straight shot from Bryn Shander to Lonelywood, takes 7 hours.
And that's not factoring how long this conversation could take if we stop by Targos.
That is correct.
Yes, and if we want to not be traveling by night or during the night, maybe we just go to Targos and
It's
plan
always
our
night.
in the darkness. Then perhaps we just go to Targos for now.
And the sheriff said that there's, 48 hours that they normally stay in a town before they leave?
That's correct.
Well, surely, if we miss them in Lonelywood, we would catch them on the road then.
That is most likely if they're just using the straight trade roads from each of the towns. Then yeah, they would have to make their way double back.
Be pretty foolish to do something otherwise.
Well, they are a large caravan.
Yes, which makes them a huge target. They probably will stick to the traveled roads. So perhaps we have more time than we think to catch up with them.
True. Alright, I'm not opposed to going to Targos.
Alrighty. So you guys are going from Bryn Shander to Targos.
Sounds like it.
Before you exit the city, are you guys doing any preparations for your travel, or are you guys just heading out?
I mean, unless we want to do some other shopping, I think we're pretty well provisioned at this point. I don't know. How do the rest of the party feel?
I feel like this is a short enough journey that if we forget something, we won't be punished too harshly for it.
I kind of want to visit that Tinkerer, but I don't want to take up like all of our game time. So maybe, do you think I could say that I visited the Tinker and then we just do it in the RP channel later in the week?
Sure.
Awesome.
The only other thing, do they have health potions here? And how much do
Yes.
they cost? And
You
is
can
there a
buy
difference between here and Targos in prices?
The price of healing potions at this moment is very stable. So you could buy them for the player's handbook price of 50 GP.
Okay. Just to be on the safe side, Alicia's gonna purchase a potion. Or another potion.
Yeah, so under her breath, Lotus will say, she'll just poke at the forehead of her mask a little bit, just be like, You would think if they gave me the arcane ability to use magic, they'd give me some healing spells with this thing.
Oh, you're speaking of what happened to you.
Yes. You know, and I would say probably during the time we're here, this may seem like an odd question to ask, but do you ever wonder if the world around you is actually real?
No.
Raylan chuckles.
I'm not exactly sure the context behind that, but I would like to think that the world is real.
Well, the thing that has me questioning that are, those night terrors I've been having, like how do I know that I'm not still there, that all of this, and she just sort of like waves her arms up and down, all of this isn't just some sort of illusion that they've planted in me, in my head, that to just make me more, docile to their... Ugh. And she just trails off and just shudders.
Alicia will walk over to you and give you a pinch.
Ow!
Did that feel real?
Yes, it did.
Well, unless their illusions are very, very convincing, I think you're in the real world.
Yes. There's so many questions and so many things I don't know about them and that ship and even this. She points at the mask.
Well, when we get a chance, we'll try and do a little bit of digging and see if we can't find some answers for you. But we have a killer to catch, so...
Right. Thank you for that. It's been a while since I've been around anyone I could call a friend.
There's a little bit of a smile from Alicia as you say that.
Anyway, is it just me, or does Gaiman seem a bit more lively than he has been?
He has. Don't worry, I'm keeping an eye on him.
I mean, not that I'm complaining. I mean, he's I don't know, it's just seeing him in that sort of state just seems off somehow.
Well, for the meantime, I think it's... Well, hopefully these moods changes aren't having too much of a bad effect on him, but for now, at least it seems like it's doing him some good. Like I said, I'm keeping an eye on him.
And Gaiman's just power walking along and like humming, and he'll periodically take out a weapon from where he's got it stored, and he'll mumble something to it and put it away.
We should probably catch up.
Yes, and we'll give her and she would ask Akio and say, like, I know you sent that letter, but with what we've discovered with our potential leads on this case, are we still keeping up our appearances of being together?
We still don't know what the church's involvement is exactly, but for now, I believe so.
Just I'm doing the best I can with this. Just let me know if you start feeling, if you think anything I'm doing is a bit too much, if it makes you feel uncomfortable or anything.
I have no idea what would be appropriate.
Now, as you guys are traveling, about halfway through the trip, just set the clock to the correct moment. As you're traversing this road, the road to Targos is not very long, but you see something quite interesting on the road. And you don't remember it being there last time, but you see an enclosed wooden wagon just kind of sitting there in the road. You don't see any persons or draft animals in sight. You just see this very large wagon with a windows and an open door.
Is it like a stagecoach?
This is like a wooden mobile home, if that makes sense, everyone.
Well, this is quite strange.
Do we see any animals around or anything?
You don't see any persons or draft animals in sight, but you do see the tracks in the snow of the wagon wheels.
Gaiman's gonna stop. He's gonna very slowly put out his hand and put it on your chest, Nakia, and say, "Okay, be careful. Could be a mimic."
How much snow has accumulated on the wagon? I guess I can give a perception roll for that.
Sure, yeah, give me a perception.
Can't really tell.
It's got a fair amount of snow accumulated on the top. You can't tell how long the mobile home has been there, but there's definitely snow on its roof.
Maybe you don't cross the bridge yet.
Wait, you guys stay here. I'll go interrogate the mimic.
Gaiman, you're whispering in your outside voice.
No, this is my inside voice.
Be careful, Gaiman. And use your outside voice if you come across any trouble.
Okay. Hello, Mr. Mimic! I've come to interrogate you!
Gaiman, as you get closer, looking perhaps through the open door, you see that there's a small kitchen and a living area that you can see inside of this wagon.
Hello! I know you're trying to make yourself look very enticing to eat me! Hello?
As you get a little bit closer, you see that there is a bed with an unmoving person under the covers inside.
Oh. This is very convincing.
And he's gonna take Lucille off his back, and he's gonna like poke the wagon with his battle axe, his great axe.
Hello?
Okay, as you poke the battle axe, you poke it. It appears that this is pretty solid.
Guys, I don't think it's a mimic.
Well, that's good, because that would be terrifying, because that's a big wagon. Well done,
I
Gaiman.
know, right? Oi, you there! Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey!
Gaiman, as you look inside, you see that there's a treasure chest at the foot of the bed.
Ooh, what's in there? Wait, no, don't do that. All right. What's that, Lucille? No, that's naughty. I'm not going to do that. Oi, you there!
And he's gonna actually get into the wagon and like go up to the sleeping person and shake him. Wakey, wakey!
Damon, as you're shaking the person, you feel your hands adhere to the surface of the blanket.
Oh shit!
And I would like for everyone to roll initiative, because you just walked inside of a mimic, Gavin.
Wow. So it fucking was a mimic. Jeez.
It was. I was like, oh, he knows.
No, I don't. I was bullshitting. Honest to God.
It angler
I thought,
fished you.
what's the least likely thing? It's like this. Clearly, this is like an ambush we're being set up for. So, while the bandits are like covered in snow waiting for us, I'll just say it's a mimic. It's actually a mimic.
Somehow we brought this into the universe.
Well, I mean, weren't we making jokes about Christmas critters?
Yeah.
So you have, because you were touching its adhesiveness, it has you grappled inside of its belly. So I'm just gonna let me move the wagon out of the way. We don't need the wagon anymore. Oh gosh.
I swear I haven't read the adventure. I was just being snarky about the mimic.
No, I know that you have it. Okay, so Gaiman is grappled inside of the creature's bell. Let me roll for the mimic. Ooh, the mimic actually did not win initiative here. That is Gaiman.
I don't see Raylan on initiative.
Oh yeah, Raylan, you need to roll.
I thought I did.
I don't know
I
if
was
they were.
pretty sure I did.
Oh, I don't know if they were
No, I
added
rolled-
to the track.
I rolled an
before the
intel
roll.
check, not initiative. Haha. Let's try that again.
If you go to the combat tracker, there's a little die you can roll. You can click on it, like next to your icon under your name.
Got it.
All right, everyone. This giant mimic has your friend Gaiman inside of its gullet. And actually, Gaiman, I have to take it back. Raylan is the first to go because they won initiative with a 21.12.
All right. So can I see Gaiman is inside of its mouth? Is that what I heard?
Correct. He is inside of the wagon, and the wagon is like getting all squiggly, and it's like moving, and there's like tendrils and pseudopods sticking out of it in every direction.
Oh shit! And its Gaiman is like obscured. We can't see him.
I would say, yeah, he's partially obscured inside of this creature.
Okay. I am going to run up to this creature, and I will make. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna cast Rifle Smite, and then make a weapon attack. So that's if it fails.
Absolutely. So the next time you hit with a weapon attack,
Yeah.
and an 18 hits this creature for 5 slashing, and then needs to make a wisdom save.
Yep. Oof.
It succeeds its wisdom save, but I believe it does take the psychic damage.
It does. And then, let's see, as a bonus action, I will try to, where are these actions at? Features, try to telekinetically pull Gaiman out of its mouth if it's like partial. You know, I don't
believe
I
you
don't have
used
that.
your bonus action for Wrathful Smite.
Oh, that's true story. That is, I think I'll just position to try to get in a better so I can better see Gaiman and figure out how to save him. And that's it.
Absolutely. Okay. The Ritzy Mimic is going to steal because it was damaged. Okay, the Ritzy Mimic. It is a grappler. So it does have advantage on any attacks against creatures grappled by it. So Gaiman, it is going to try to attack you with its bite as you are inside of its mouth. So here we go. This is at advantage with a bite attack.
Oh my.
Oh my gosh, that is a huge crit. So yes, that is 24 from its teeth that bury itself into you, and then
Yeah,
8
I'm going to reaction
from-
Stone's Endurance that.
Absolutely. As you are using your reaction, I should let you know that you all hear the bloop, bloop, bloop of Paragon actions from this mimic.
This thing's a Paragon monster too. Ooh, cool.
I got a message from Dom that said I was being a baby DM with these monsters. It's like, you're right. I'm sorry, Dom.
Oh, I see how it is.
Well, no.
Dom.
Dom needs to not, push you around. You need to be the DM you feel comfortable being.
I'm just
Yes,
kidding. Dom would never.
I was gonna
I would
say,
never say
I
that.
agree with that statement. I face enough Paragon monsters on Wednesday. I don't need that here.
Okay, so it bites, biting down onto Gaiman, reducing the damage by 10 with your Stone's Endurance. Let's see.
Wait, do I get the acid damage too?
Yes, that is
Okay.
from the solutions and the secretions dripping from its mouth onto your
All right.
toned body. Okay, that is it for its action economy. Gaiman, would you like to steal?
Absolutely. I'll figure it out. So Gaiman's pretty pissed off about this.
God damn it! I was joking about you, Vega Mimic! God! I'm gonna cut your tongue off and lick your ass with it! Ah!
And he's going to bonus action rage. All right. Thank you for raging for me. And so I'm grappled because my hand's stuck to it. I guess
You've
I'll
got
just
two
try.
hands.
I've got two hands, but no, I've got Lucille in the other. That's a two-handed weapon. I'm just going to. I'm going to try and I'm going to try and break the grapple.
Absolutely. This is an athletics check. It has an escape DC to break its grapple.
All right.
This is not a contested check.
And I am raging, so this is at advantage, I believe.
Sure. Absolutely. Okay, you are able to pull yourself out of its sticky embrace.
All right. And I'm gonna do the 5e shuffle and get on the other side of it.
Absolutely. Everyone, you see Gaiman exit the mimic's mouth, and you hear a large, unplucking sound, like when you or unplug, like when you unplug the bathtub as he escapes.
Wait, your bathtub's plugged in?
Yeah, we have a plug in ours. It goes as you pull it out.
All right. Gaiman is going to squelch his way around to the other side of the mimic, and then he is going to call out and say,
Akia! Burn this motherfucker down!
and pass to him.
All right, Akia, you can take your action.
All right. I will do that. I will just launch a napalm jet here in the middle. And when you cast the spell, yep. Okay.
Its body
All right.
morphs around the fire. It kind of like becoming a cylindrical, kind of weird slinky.
All right, I will sort of move around a little bit, and I'll bonus action defensive field and gain 3 temp HP.
Very nice.
And pass to, let's see. I guess I'll pass to Alicia since she is in there with it.
Sure. The creature will spend one of its paragon actions. It opens its mouth, and from its mouth, a blast of breath echoes itself all over our friend Akia. Akia, it is going to blow its poisonous breath upon you.
Okay.
Not too bad. Only 7 damage potentially here. Constitution saving throw, please.
Okay. I'm not sure how my poison resistance works. I think it's just half damage, or if I get you have advantage on saving throws against being poisoned, and you have resistance to poison damage. Do I have it? But
So
this
you would
is
have
not...
Correct. You would have resistance to the damage, but not on this save.
Okay. So I'll click save.
Orf, is there a way you can? I forgot. Now that I am Path of the Colossus, what you will also notice that when Gaiman rages, he now is a large creature.
Oh yeah.
So it's not just like he uncorks himself. He gets mad at being in the creature's mouth, and he just increases in size, and is like he's kind of like his own winch, and he like sort of just pushes open the mimic's mouth as he like unsticks himself and steps out.
Absolutely.
Okay. I fail the con save, take half damage, and I remain concentrating.
Oh, did you succeed?
No, I failed the con save against
Oh.
the poison, took half damage against the poison, and then succeeded on my con save to remain concentrating on my fire.
Okay, perfect. So now, Alicia is up.
Okay. Well, Gaiman's a big boy now.
Oh, actually, I wouldn't have taken damage. That would have hit my temp HP.
He's just going to...
You still would have had to make the con save.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and not get out of this thing's attack range, but I can still see Gaiman if he's supposed to be a large-sized creature, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Alicia's gonna cast... I think I'll keep... Yeah. They'll spend a 2nd level spell slot to cast Bless. Putting it on Gaiman, Akia, themselves, and Raylan. And then bonus action. I think that's it for right now. It's gonna have Bless up. We'll pass to Lotus.
Okay, Lotus, this creature is going to do one of those annoying things that Paragon monsters do. It's going to quickly interrupt. Let's see. It's going to go ahead and target. It's going to spread the love. It hasn't targeted Alicia yet. It's going to go for a pseudopod.
It
as a long tentacle stretches out and tries to grab you.
That definitely hits.
You all see the pseudopad kind of wrap around Alicia and whack her.
Ow. Okay, bless is maintained.
Bless is maintained. Okay, Lotus.
All right. Seeing all this going on, Lotus will take up her pitcher stance. She does. The Lotus mark on her mask starts lighting pretty brightly, and her eyes light up in bright purple. As now she will activate Metamagic for. Here, so I will go ahead and then use that to cast Firebolt twice on the Mimic.
Absolutely.
So the one's point. All right, first one.
A 12 hits.
All right, for fire damage. As the firebolt fires off, as she pitches it, you see it quickly split off into two. And as you do, you actually see some of the snow actually starting to melt.
You are breaking up a little bit.
Yes.
15 for another 4.
That hits. No problem. So you hit the creature, boom, again with a flaming bolt twice. And is that it for the Lotus?
Yep, that'll do.
Okay, who will you pass to in round 2? Or are you guys going to let the Mimic steal to start our next session?
Well, I mean, it just took damage, so it would steal going into the round unless one of us wants to use inspiration.
I think that's what he's at. That's what he's asking.
Got it.
I wanted to give you guys that opportunity.
I don't have any DM inspiration, so.
I'm okay with it stealing, honestly.
Okay, then
Fine.
we'll have the Mimic start off us next time, and I will take us back to the starting page because we are at time. Oh my gosh. What a crazy session of Rime of the Frostmaiden. I want to thank you guys all for playing. I had such a fun time. The intrigue is growing. I think you guys have maybe caught on to who this Ice Knife Killer could potentially be. I guess we'll find out next time. Of course, that is if everyone survives this fight with this Mimic.
The fucking wagon was a Mimic. God damn
it. I can't wait to tell everybody about, I put this Mimic in their path, and one of the players even said, "Oh, guys, it's a Mimic," jokingly. And then he went inside, and it was a Mimic.
I blame the drugs.
As you should. As you should. And did anyone catch that we had our third instance of Johnny Depp in the game?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, what I really caught was someone who you've never seen before. I was like,
I love it. All right, everyone. Well, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, critiques for me, please send those to me in the Discord publicly or privately. And
more David Bowie, please. That was amazing.
Now we're going to see how many times David Bowie could be in the campaign.
A lot.
Yeah, if there's any ways that I can make the campaign better or ways that you guys think we can keep the story advancing forward, just let me know. I am 100% open for criticism. Does anyone have any closing words or statements or anything like that?
Nope, just as always, thanks for having us. We do enjoy this.
As fun as it is to RP, don't actually do drugs, kids.
Actually, yes.
I'm considering having a scrolling message anytime Gaiman decides going for his drugs. Drugs are bad, kids. Don't do them.
Just have a subtitle on the bottom that says drugs are bad, okay?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wait till you're older.
It's like eating spinach and kale. Just wait till you're an adult. You'll enjoy it a lot more.
I prefer Bill Nye's approach as playing the aging rock star in Love Actually. Don't do drugs, kids. Become a rock star, then people will give you drugs for free.
I love that. And we know that somewhere near East Haven is the origin of these drugs. Maybe you guys can help Gaiman get off of them. We'll see. Well, y'all, I'm going to head to bed because I have a car detailing appointment in the morning that I don't want to be late for. So I need to get some rest.
That is important.
All right, everyone. Well, I will see you all next week on the 20th.
Yep.
Jeez, where's the month going?
I don't know. I already started school again. It's craziness. All right, everyone. Have a good one. Bye.
Yep.
Good night.
Too. Thanks for
Good
running.
night.
All right, thanks. Good night, everybody.
And
Night.
thanks everyone for tuning in. Catch you next time.